Esports are competitive video games, basically similar to any other sport, but people are playing an electronic video game and competing with one another. That thing about us that makes us competitive is alive in video games. It's satisfying that need that we don't always get from daily life. It gives us something to care about and something to be competitive and win at.
Watching esports tournaments, watching games, it's just really exciting, the development of how far esports has come.
There's that rush of you want to win. There's still that stress of, is this team better than me? And there's just that overall need to win.
I would consider it a sport. These people are dedicating hours every week to going to practices, competing in scrims with other teams, and then doing the actual competitions, just like any football player would.
To be able to take gaming and move it to like a graduate program, it's a different approach to getting an education while still doing something that you enjoy.
I think esports is something that's going to become a part of the identity of UNCW. I think it's going to be a large draw to the institution in terms of like admissions. Oh, they have esports there? That fits my profile as a student. I'm going to come here.
3, 2, 1, go!
First video game competition happened in the 70s at Stanford University with a game called Space War. And ever since then, the competitive scene has been gaining more and more traction. But really, esports didn't take off until 2014, when something called Justin TV turned into what's called Twitch TV, which was video game streaming. All of a sudden, people had a way to actually watch these tournaments, similar to the way we watch sports on ESPN. And that really is what caused esports to grow and expand significantly, because all of a sudden, from my house, I could watch these competitions.
The pinnacle of the internet and gaming in general is the fact that you can connect with so many people from around the world that you would have never been able to before.
It does have a unique level of accessibility because it's based online, where even if I'm at home or I'm at school or I'm wherever, I can still play games with people. I can still interact with people and talk with them.
I did do some competitive gaming when I was growing up. So we had like little competitions that they would do, like local blockbusters and stuff, but nothing on the level of what they have today.
It's something you can consistently get better at. It's really easy to play, very difficult to master. So it makes you want to just keep playing over and over again because you get this sense of fulfillment when you actually do well. With monetary prizes and actually gold at the end of the rainbow, it can be worth your time to actually do it too.
It all started with Ashley, Dr. Ray, Emmanuel, Eden, and a couple other people. They came together and created the club. I joined not long after, and we all basically had the general agreement that our goal was to make a big gaming and esports community, not only at UNCW, but in Wilmington.
When I first joined, the esports club had about 3 people, but they had just this image of everybody coming together and just playing video games without having to worry about the struggles that people go through on a daily basis. It's just a place where we can feel safe, feel welcomed, and just have fun with each other. And I think video games is a really good way to accomplish that.
I was kind of asked as a student in Dr. Pastore's class who's interested in gaming. I think me and Ashley Cribb, 2 prominent members that were very interested in gaming, and he's like, hey, would you guys like to be the foundations of a student organization? Of course, us being both students at the time, we said, sure.
We actually started off trying to make our own club for Smash, and at the same time, the esports thing was happening, so we were like talking back and forth with Ashley, just like, is this gonna be a thing? Like, we're gonna work together, we should have our own things. That's like the actual grassroots part of it. And then eventually we joined up with them because they had the whole thing established. They had people in charge, like Dr. Ray. We kind of hopped on with them, and then we still had the same members we had at the start. We got a healthy stream of people coming in. It kind of just kept going. It all kind of built up to the GameCon eventually.
We actually met in the room that we're in now. There were 3 of us sitting at a table, and we said, yeah, let's do this thing. This could be interesting. Let's see what could happen. applied, became a club. We decided to have a tournament. We decided to have it about a week later. We reserved a room on campus and just started putting up flyers. We had no idea what we were getting into, no idea what was gonna happen. That night of the tournament, it rained, and we were like, oh, if we get like 7 people to show up, this is gonna be awesome. We'll have a small tournament with a few people, that's kind of cool. Line out the door, people traveling 2 hours to come to the tournament. We had 70 competitors. The tournament was supposed to last from, I think we said 6 to 7:30, ended around 1 in the morning. University was trying to kick us out of the room at 9 p.m. From there, it just kind of grew into what it is. It just expanded significantly because we saw at that point there were actually students that would care and want this.
It was really hard to find like a dedicated group of people I could have a community with. Coming to UNCW, it was amazing when I was looking for, clubs I could join, like maybe I'll make some new friends. And then I see Esports Club. I was like, wait, they have a Discord. They have like pictures of them doing like Smash tournaments. I was like, this is for me. I join it and it's just amazing. I really feel like I found a place where I belong.
It is like a family. The esports community here, it had very humble beginnings and just grew into something that I couldn't even fathom. You see people helping each other out, not only with gaming, but just like personal things and class initiatives and all sorts of stuff. And so it's a family vibe for sure.
It's been such a big part of my life, my entire life. It's not only helped me connect with people I would have never known otherwise online, but also meet so many amazing people at UNCW that have the same interests and goals.
Coming here and finding people that like what I like and do what I do has just changed my life. Honestly, I couldn't ask for anything better.
The esports community here is great. It's a super welcoming club. You feel like you're actually like a part of something. You feel like your presence actually matters.
I think I love most about it the social aspect. I think it can be very satisfying to finish a game with someone.
We started out as a really small club where we would just meet up and do video games. Then I would go watch like local Smash tournaments and Cape Fear games, and just it kind of spiraled from there. But everybody is very friendly and very welcoming.
I have made lifelong friends through gaming, and to think that I wouldn't have had those experiences, those connections without playing video games with them is something I can't really think of because it doesn't seem possible to me. I just really love the connection, especially.
Say all of our competitive teams were really trying our best to represent UNCW, put UNCW on the map. I try to support our teams as much as I can, just like you would like any regular sports team, even though it's all online.
Track and field has javelin, running, jumping. When we say esports, it's like that. We have multiple different games that someone can play. I like to tell people it's not a sport, it's an esport. It's great to say they're similar, but they're not the same thing. They're different audiences, different people playing. Let's embrace what it really is. And it's a culture. And it's important to recognize that when we talk about the differences. Like esports is a way of life for people.
I think that esports is just as valid as any other athletic sport. It takes a lot of practice, so a lot of that goes into strategy, experience, and muscle memory. So a lot of that goes into even like controllers and mouse.
I mean, one might be physically taxing, one might be mentally taxing, but you're still feeling like that type of drive, stress even, to beat your opponent to achieve. And so you gotta take care of yourself, you gotta monitor, your heart rate and types of things like that. It's very serious. Gaming in general is viewed as like a recreational thing, but when you're doing it at a competitive level, you gotta know how to handle that stress.
The key to winning is working as a team. When you just get like a group of like-minded people together with the same goal, we can succeed. I served in the military, I was a non-commissioned officer for 3 years. I could take those skills and apply it to here to try to create like a team where it's like you really need to make this bond or we're not gonna succeed. So that's kind of the mindset that I went in with.
There's a thing for everyone, D&D, Smash, COD, literally anything, anyone can get into it, People play a lot of different games, so it's natural that it's like you kind of branch out to different parts of the club. Even on the competitive teams, a big part of it is like, even if you're like very new to the game, it doesn't matter. If you want to play the game, got you. That's a big part of it.
Sometimes you have 5v5 gaming, which there's a lot of communication involved and being in the right place at the right time. You know, you might have like a point person, somebody that might be more adept at a certain task, you kind of assign them to that task. So just strategy, you know, it's all there.
The way we conduct practice, we have like a housekeeping thing, you know, whatever events are happening at the club, like when's the next meetings, all that good stuff. And then we have like a Q&A kind of thing. I'm a ranked player in the state. I have like a sponsor, travel, all that kind of stuff. So like I have the experience that they want to know about, right? Like, okay, Pat, what can I do to like do X, Y, and Z? If they have the question, but they're not quite sure how to take that next step, I got them for that. Or it's like, if they don't know what to do, I can like give them like, okay, this is what I've been noticing during practice. Here's how I can go about it. My job as the team captain and the coach is like, okay, here's what you can do about it next.
I've competed in football for 12 years and I've done Taekwondo. I even do UNCW Quidditch. And like, it's just nice playing as a team and then winning as the main goal, and it just tastes very sweet at the end, so.
I think it's also pretty cool playing for UNCW where people are like, oh, I don't really know this school, but we're playing these big names like Alabama, FIU, USF, UCF, all these schools that like people have heard of, and we're competing with them as a small school of 4 guys who just met each other online. It's really cool to see.
I really like playing against these guys because it's just like better competition. People are competitive online nowadays in just random matches, but you don't really get that upper level of competition until you actually get into something like regulated like college esports. I've played video games all my life. This was the first time that I've actually been on a team that like we had scheduled practices and scheduled time in the lab and looking over strats and stuff, and like organizing and not just hopping on our computers and just playing.
I think of like esports as almost like football. Like, you know, we come in here and we watch film, a lot of X's and O's on the board. Once we step away from the board, we got to go to practice. And once we practice, we got to execute during game days.
I'd say it's extremely similar to any team structure, so you have to have that synergy within all of the players to actually do well. So have that synergy and also just being able to compete together and strategize together and work together, have that sportsmanship. In the esports club, something that we definitely enforce among our competitive teams is sportsmanship, because at the end of the day, if you want to play in any sport, athletics, you have to have that sportsmanship, not only for your team, but for the opposing team. It's just a matter of respect, competing together, trying to have fun, and also be the best players.
Gaming is a cultural thing. It's not just a fun thing that people like to do. Esports is not just a competitive sport like baseball. This is how they communicate with their peers. This is where they see their friends. This is what they are doing in their free time. It's what they enjoy. Learning how to embrace that into education is really significant, and there's so many ways to do it through gamification, which is incorporating gaming elements into non-gaming situations. All educators have done that. They don't even understand that they've incorporated games into their classroom forever. Think about when you were an elementary school student and your teacher would give you a star every time you were good. That's incorporating gaming elements into the classroom environment. So figuring out how can we embrace this, but also teaching the kids skills that they're going to need for future jobs is super important.
They're learning management skills, they're learning leadership skills, they're learning project operation. Depending on the path that they want to take, it could be a complement to something else they're doing, their business majors or their students who are in another academic program, but they're taking this with them into that. It has intellectual and academic competencies that go with it that can be connected to whatever the person's primary goal is for their career. How does esports present an opportunity for learners that goes beyond the things that we have more traditionally done at the Watson College: educator preparation, leadership preparation, higher education, early childhood? This sort of begins to push that boundary.
So we started a curriculum at UNCW based around different career paths around esports and gaming, like the business of esports, where you focus on like ethics, law, facilities, management of an esports arena or tournaments. How do you do that? We have a course focused on streaming. Each course is based on a different job that someone can have in the industry. You know, there's a course on marketing, a course on coaching. Things that are very similar to like what you might see in athletics or what you might see in business or what you might see in communications or film studies, but combined with a focus on gaming.
Introductory one, any other introductory class, you know, Dr. Ray, great professor. So if you don't know anything about esports, I'd recommend checking it out. Like, it gives you like a little bit of everything, you know, like any other introductory class. And then the streaming and audio, it's teaching you like YouTube, Twitch, other platforms. You can hook up your phone and like stream it onto like a monitor or something, knowing like what equipment to use, how to properly like get an idea of like what's required to actually like stream and record properly. That's what that class is about. And then the leadership one is more so about the business aspect of it, I would say. Coordinating in a sense, there's how to market effectively, how to present a good presentation.
My goal is to work in esports as my career. So currently I am a full-time software engineer while also attending UNCW, and prior to that I was working as a quality assurance engineer. Throughout that, I learned that all of these positions within my major are extremely relevant in the esports fields. It's not just pro gaming, it's any career that you could really think of. Marketing, IT, development. There's so many different pathways that you can go to, especially if you want to get into entertainment like film, casting, streaming. There's just so many different avenues.
This presents the college with an opportunity to think about being in spaces that are tied to learning and education, but might not be the traditional spaces where we find ourselves. I think it's got a fantastic engagement possibility in terms of working with schools in general, but entities out in the community that want to build the esports capacity. It represents another way that the college is engaged out at the regional level.
Colleges should support esports for a number of reasons. What is most applicable to most colleges and universities is the community and student engagement aspect that collegiate esports builds. Esports programs foster a community where many students who didn't feel like they fit in on other places or other groups on campus, they can truly thrive. And they're doing something that they're passionate about, being with people who feel the same excitement that they do, which is always a great way to build community. It also helps with both recruitment of new students and retention of existing students. Schools also seize the opportunity to create courses, certificates, and degree programs based on preparing students for careers in the esports or gaming industry. And oftentimes that actually comes already built in with the skills that are transferable to other careers as well.
We've gotten established in terms of our relationship with student affairs and how the work we're doing with esports can support the broader student experience on campus. There are other universities in the state that are ahead of us in terms of development of what they're doing on their campuses. And it's informative to us about what we can do at UNCW. I do think we are an anchor point for the Southeast region. I hope we're able to, with integrity and I'd say creativity, build out that recreational component so the students who want to access esports that way at UNCW can do it successfully. Students who want to be engaged in the intercollegiate competition component can be engaged in that way, and students who want to be engaged in the academic programming that Ray and others are building are able to do that. We want to do it with integrity. We want to do it in a way that's creative, give students and people out in the community access that they want to esports programming.
So what we've done over the last 2 years online and just planning is built up the program, gotten a lot more students and community engaged in what we're doing to be able to put on an event like this. This event's been able to add a lot more components to esports, not only game competition, but an online event. We have tabletop games and really just make it a community and a place to gather. So that's what's really exciting about this. It involved probably about 20 to 30 students all coming together, sponsors, and just tons of prep. And it's a great experience for the students. What it's allowed them to do is almost work a real job and put on a real full event so they can add this to their resume.
This is the largest scale event we've ever run, and it's so exciting. It feels amazing because, you know, we started from nothing and we're completely grassroots. So we did all of this on our own. We like allocated volunteers, hardware. We did everything on our own, basically.
The biggest thing I'm looking forward to is just making the GameCon even bigger and even better. More people, more volunteers. I want to see it become a legitimate convention.
I'm very happy with the turnout. We had not only students, but like family and pretty much the Wilmington community coming around, and it's just really rewarding to see people also indulge in gaming and like our passion and everything.
I think it's great. The fact that we able to have it on campus for other students to potentially find a passion they don't know about is a great opportunity for sure.
So one of the reasons I'm really excited about this event and gaming in general is that we're really uniting a community. It's one of the reasons we started this to begin with. You know, we can all just sit at home and play video games, but what we realize is that this is more than that. And it's really a culture of students. It's a culture of adults. Age is no barrier. So, you know, we're able to interact with middle school, high school, college students, adults, people my age and older, who all can come together and talk about something that we all have a passion for. And that's what's really exciting about what we're doing.
I think that people should support collegiate esports the same way that they support college teams for any other sport. All of these players put in a minimum of 5 days a week practice. And a lot of our players, you know, they're all volunteers. So they do this, they put in all of that time with no scholarships, you know, no funding. And it's because they really care and they want this to be their career someday. They want to be known, they want that notoriety.
Watching the streams is always good because it supports the people streaming it and the schools who compete in it, you know? Because then they see, okay, we have viewership for this, you know, people want this to happen. So that it gives a good feedback loop, because then those people can continue to invest in what they're doing, upstream quality, all that kind of stuff. So even little things like that, like watching the streams is really important.
There's more behind esports than just playing games, and I think that real companies see that. People from our club have gotten, you know, internships, gotten jobs, scholarships. Being able to support club organization and the education like this will really provide a lot of opportunities for people in the future to explore that new kind of career path and, you know, their passion.
It's as mainstream as normal sports. It generates a lot of revenue. It builds large communities. It's a great way for people to connect, and having official standing and official recognition from large universities and just in general, it's actually a legitimate career path now, and getting support will just make it even more accessible for everyone.
You know, we went for 3 years without getting any real significant funding, and it was a challenge, but we got what we did is we continued on, and we got to a point where we really couldn't grow anymore without funding. And at that point, our university recognized what we were doing, and they said, wow, like, this is great. You guys are doing some really cool stuff here. I really think that there's a future here. I think you guys are on to something really cool. So we finally have our lab, it's all together. It's been a fun experience, really getting it all together for our students. Our teams are using it all the time. They have a place to practice now. This means so much to the students. Engagement has been really high. It's almost nonstop students coming in and out. It's been just a really great experience. It's fun to watch, and I'm really excited to see where it goes in the future.
University has given us an opportunity. So what do we do with this opportunity? How do we take this further? And through community engagement, through working with students, faculty, parents, you know, how can we, you know, further our mission to be able to bring people together through gaming?
The world is seeing this is a culture, and it means something to these students to be able to come in and feel recognized and feel like they have a place and they belong.
It means that as a gamer, I'm seen. It means that the university values that part of me, and it doesn't see gaming as like a frivolous activity, but something that can actually contribute to a very strong career. I think it's just a fundamental activity in like the growth of students. It means the world to me, truly.
There's a lot more funding and a lot more money being put into collegiate esports within the next 5 to 10 years. I think it's going to be a big ramp up, and I really do think that it'll be rivaling some of the smaller collegiate sports. I definitely think it's growing and has an opportunity to become one of the mainstays of sports.
It has more potential than we have structure right now. We've got to figure out how to be responsible about taking advantage of the opportunities. Our goal is to be able to engage successfully with those opportunities.
My ideal future for UNCW Esports is definitely having employees to help us run the program. Having employees that can help us register for tournaments, coaches, maintaining our teams and keeping up with them and making sure that they have everything that they need regarding like jerseys, hardware, tournament organizers, all of that kind of stuff. Just having our own area, the larger area, because our club has grown substantially. And also scholarships, because that's something that's become extremely prevalent within universities, is having esports teams where they compete at a collegiate level and get scholarships for that.
So that's what the funding really does. It gives us hope that, hey, this is being recognized beyond just us, but it's being recognized for the value that it brings to a university. It's not about which school has a gaming program, because they're all gonna have it. The issue is if you wanna recruit students that are interested in science, technology, engineering, math, if you want those kind of students at your university, you better have a gaming program, because they're gonna be looking for a school that has one. And if you don't support that, you're just missing out on those students, because a large portion of students interested in STEM are also gamers.
There is a game out there for everyone, and I would suggest people to go and find it.
It can be something I can look back on and be like, hey, like I was there when it was founded, and now look at it.
It is definitely very important to me to see it grow as a foundational member, and I wish esports here at UNCW the best.
Knowing that I helped create a community that other people coming to UNCW in the future can participate in and feel that sense of belonging and realize, this can be my career. It's not just a hobby, and I don't have to be the best at any game just to get involved in it. It's so much more than that, and I'm just really excited for the future.
I think that this is here to stay. You see it more and more across the nation. It's a good step forward for UNCW.
I think at the end of the day, esports is something that whether people agree it's a real sport, whether people think that it should get as much attention as it does, big things are happening in the world of esports, and a lot of other countries have established this as a real integral part of their culture. And at UNCW and this country, I can't wait to see where it goes from here.